We're now going to be going over the pronunciation of the Our Father in ecclesiastical Latin. I'm going to begin first by reciting it at a regular speed, and then I'll break it down slowly so you can hear each word correctly. So let's begin. Pater Noster, qui es in cælis, sanctificétur nomen tuum, Advéniat regnum tuum, fiat volúntas tua, sicut in cælo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidiánum de nobis hódie, et dimítte nobis debita nostra. Sicut et nos dimittimus debitóribus nostris, et ne nos indúcas in tentatiónem, sed líbera nos a malo. Amen. Now slowly. Pater Noster. Pater Noster. Qui es in cælis. In cælis. Sanctificétur nomen tuum. Sanctificétur nomen tuum. When you have two vowels together like that, you would pronounce it u. You pronounce both vowels, so it's tuum, 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 nomen tuum. Advéniat regnum tuum. Advéniat regnum tuum. Now, in ecclesiastical Latin, when you have the G end together like that, the G almost becomes, I guess you can say it's silent, and the G end together, it has a kind of a NY sound, a ny sound. So instead of regnum, that would be classical Latin, regnum. In ecclesiastical Latin, it's regnum, regnum, tuum, regnum. So almost like an onion type sound, like when you're saying the word onion, nya. So regnum, ny, regnum, tuum. Fiat volúntas tua. Fiat volúntas tua. Sicut in cælo. Sicut in cælo. Et in terra. Et in terra. Terra. Now, when you have in ecclesiastical Latin, the R's, it's a rolling R sound. So a lot of native English speakers, and what I mean by that is people whose only language is English. They don't know any other languages, especially Romance languages. They have a hard time, pretty difficult time pronouncing that r sound, the rolling R sound. So they would say terra. It's terra, ra. And when you have two R's together, it's more of a rolling R sound. So instead of terra, it would be terra. So it's a little more of a rolling R sound. So if you have a difficult time with the rolling R, practice that. Practice vibrating your tongue to go r, like that. So terra. Panem nostrum. Panem nostrum. Quotidiánum. Quotidiánum. Da nobis hódie. Da nobis hódie. Now, one more thing, in ecclesiastical Latin, the H is always silent. Some people will teach it that the H it's either silent or it's kind of like a light H pronunciation. That's incorrect. That's not proper ecclesiastical Latin. That is taught in some Catholic universities and seminaries. Like I said, mainly in English-speaking countries, that is incorrect. In the Italian pronunciation of ecclesiastical Latin, which is the standard set by the Vatican, the H is always silent. For example, in classical, they would say hódie. They would pronounce the H sound. Some people, they'll say it in ecclesiastical Latin, you can say hódie, like almost like a light H sound. That's incorrect. You're not supposed to hear the H. It's always silent. Okay, so it's, pretend the H isn't there. Hódie. Now, there are some people will say, which doesn't really come up in any of the prayers of the rosary, but they'll say if you have a I before the H and after the H, then the H isn't silent, and I would have a ka sound. That is correct. In a way, it's correct and incorrect. It's correct if you're chanting, if you're singing chants, but in spoken, the H is always silent, regardless whether you have an I before and after it or not. So we're not chanting. We are praying. We're reciting the prayer. So keep that H silent. Just remember, H is always silent in ecclesiastical Latin, regardless of what you hear on YouTube. You can find this out. If anybody doesn't believe me, you can find out what the guidelines are by the Pontifical Academy for Latin. And they teach also the H is silent. Okay? So it's hódie. Et dimítte nobis. Et dimítte nobis. Débita. So it's not debita. I hear a lot of people say debita. It's débita. Débita nostra. Débita nostra. Sicut et nos. Sicut et nos. Dimíttimus. Debitóribus. Nostris. Et nenos. Indúcas. In tentatiónem. Tentatiónem. Sed líbera nos a malo. Líbera nos a malo. Amen.